Welcome to Beyond Energetics, the podcast where we explore the unseen forces that shape our lives. I'm Sarah, and together we'll journey into the depths of energy, intuition, and transformation. In each episode, we'll uncover how subtle energies influence our daily experiences, delve into practices that enhance our intuitive abilities, and discuss how aligning with these forces can lead to profound personal growth and health. Whether you're new to the world of energy or looking to deepen your understanding, this space is for you. So settle in, open your mind, and let's embark on this transformative journey together. Welcome, lovely listeners. I am so glad you are here. Today's episode is all about expanding your energetic toolbox. What we can do when we connect with the quantum field of energy. And I'm really excited to share my experience and insights into practices like astral projection, remote viewing, and so much more. So let's begin by talking a little bit about energetics. And in the sense of intuitive healing and metaphysics, energetics refers to the belief that the human body is permeated by a subtle energy field, and that imbalances within the field can manifest as physical, emotional, and spiritual disharmony. So individuals like myself use their intuition and perceive and manipulate this energy to promote healing by restoring balance and flow within someone's energetic field. So when you think about energetics, you might have heard things like universal life force, which is chi, prana, energy, or the chakras, or intuitive tools such as feeling energy, blockages, sensation, receiving insights, things like that. Different healing techniques are also included in this umbrella, like sound therapy or meditations or Reiki. So energetics for me is the base of everything, and it's what we can grow on to expand our own understanding of our own bodies and how we can heal and live authentically and live in alignment with ourselves. The more we know about our own energetic system, the healthier we can be. So energetics, energy is all around us. It's in the ground we walk on, in the sun that shines on us. It's in our home. It's in our bodies. It's in our pets. It's completely in every single thing from our food to our products. And this is so important to take note of because when we're aware that energy is everything, what we consume plays a significant role in how we feel. When I was doing my yoga teacher training, I was told to avoid meats when I came back because I was so open and attuned to energies that I would feel the vibrations within my body of the animal that I was consuming. And I thought, this is BS, right? So I tested it, and lo and behold, I had nightmares. I had nightmares seeing how that animal was slaughtered and all the things. I was really turned off of meat for a long time. But that just kind of shows you the power of energy. And it's indestructible. So the energy of the animal stays within that meat and is consumed by you and goes into your body. Energy is everywhere and is a part of everything. And when we work to understand the energy, the life force that runs through us, we can constantly begin to tap in and see, is this energy fueling me or depleting me? Is this energy harming me? Or is it liberating me? Our emotions and thoughts are part of energy, right? Energy, emotion is how our emotions and actions are perceived and depicted. So when we really begin to settle in and allow ourselves to feel and work with the energy of our emotions, thoughts, and actions, we can really begin to open up a world of possibilities for our personal growth and healing. So one area that I've been really pulled to dive into learning more about lately has been astral projection and learning how this tool can really help aid me in moving forward in my own life. And so I thought it'd be really cool to share what I've been learning with you, the listener, and maybe, inspire you to dive into this modality or learn more about it. And if you want to learn more about it as well, I do have a course that is launching soon. It's called Beyond Energetics. I used to teach empowered energetics, years and years ago, and this is the new revised and so much more in-depth course that has been built off of Empowered Energetics. So really, really amazing course coming up. We talk about all things energy, from things like Reiki and the chakras and how our emotions show up as physical ailments to things like this, astral projection. And I am wanting you right now to really sit and imagine yourself being able to leave your body without going anywhere physically. That is what astral projection allows us to do. It allows us to travel in our spirit form and experience different dimensions, realms, or even travel to places on Earth. So this sounds completely wild, but it's something that anyone can learn to do with practice and safely. Like with anything, there's some rules we need to follow, which we'll get to later. But, I remember the first time as of recently that I astral projected. I was able to visit my grandmother, who was actually in the nursing home and palliative at the time. And I was laying in bed and I began to see her around me. I began to find myself laying next to her. And she took my hand and she squeezed it in a rhythm, which she always squeezed my hand 3 times. I love you. She squeezed it 3 times and I could hear and feel her breath on my cheek. I could feel her hand in my hand and hear her breath. And it was the most profound, real experience with astral projecting I've ever had. And shortly after that, I woke up and I found that she had passed away in the middle of the night. So for me, I always felt that I was able to go and astral project to be with her in those last minutes, knowing that for me, that was something that I really desperately wanted to do and to be with her. So that was my most recent astral projection. And it's something that opened up a door to understand that astral projection isn't just about going to fun places, but it can be really used as a tool to be with those you love if that other energy is receptive to that. So with astral projecting, for me, it's always a sense of being so sure that I was there. I could feel it. I could smell it. All my senses were engaged in the experience, yet I still knew that I was in my own bed. I was still having that sense of consciousness as to where I was. And it's always so mind-blowing. But let's kind of take a little sidestep and talk about remote viewing, because remote viewing is often confused with astral projection. Absolutely understandably so. So when it comes to remote viewing, this is the ability to see or perceive distant locations or objects or events through the mind's eye. So, for example, for me, when I am able to remote view, I am consciously or sometimes unconsciously, this does sometimes happen in my dream state, I'm going into places that I've never been to before. So when I have a client on the phone and we're doing a house clearing, I can pretty much see the blueprint of their home. I can tell them what side of the room their bed is on, the layout. You walk through the front door, this is what I see. You go into the right, that's your living room. To the left is a hall. You keep going down there into the bedrooms. That is remote viewing. And remote viewing is being able to really perceive and leave your body without going anywhere physically, where astral projection allows you to travel in our spirit form and experience different dimensions. So again, there's this difference between the imagery leaving your body and your spirit leaving the body. So when I would see a client's home layout, that is me being able to remote view by tapping into the energy of a distant place and a person to gain more insight, almost like receiving images or sensations from a different location or dimension. And I love using remote viewing for intuitive healing sessions because it allows me to really validate what that person is feeling or seeing or what's going on in their home, while also sharing with them like what I am also capable of doing. So there's this validation of I'm not a fraud, and also I can feel what's happening here. And yeah, let's move this energetic point from, this portal in your living room that is causing your pets to go absolutely bonkers to a different time and space, or just a different place. So, being able to validate is really wonderful, and remote viewing is super fun, and it can be used in many different ways. So a lot of professionals are hired out in the military to use remote viewing to do different projects, and that's a simple Google search and a rabbit hole you might want to go into. I'm not going to go into that right now, but it is a fun little trip to take. So remote viewing, it was originally developed for intelligence gathering during the Cold War, and since then remote viewing has been used by militaries and intelligence agencies to gather information from distant locations. So distant locations, or even really monitor events that are happening in real time, which is crazy to even think about. And while this might sound completely like something out of a spy movie, remote viewers were very rigorously trained to accurately describe locations, hidden objects, or even military activities that were classified or otherwise inaccessible to conventional intelligent methods. So this is nothing new. This is very real, and a lot of people, myself included, didn't really realize how real and how much this is used, right? We think of psychics and other spiritual exploration as woo-woo, and only to find that very recently all these documents were uncovered and really shared for the general public to dive into some more interesting facts about how really expansive our abilities are beyond what we've been led to believe. So outside of government programs, though, remote viewing has evolved into a tool that's used by many individuals, myself included, for personal growth and spiritual exploration. And you can use this as a tool for yourself too, to access different states of consciousness, or even gain insights into past lives. If you've ever had a past life regression, this is a form of that. Or if you want to connect with higher guidance, right? Connecting with your higher self, going into that state of meditation. These are all ways that you can tap into this skill, this tool. So, for example, some remote viewers use this practice to really explore their own inner worlds, or travel to locations that hold a very personal significance to them, such as past experience or uncontrolled, or not uncontrolled, but unresolved, rather, emotional matters, possibly uncontrolled, but by going back into those states and revisiting and diving into the self as an observer rather than a participant, you're able to rewrite scripts and rewrite how your nervous system and your brain has wired and fired together to create your personal reality that is existing in your day-to-day life. So it's very powerful. Lots of therapists are now using different tools and different variations of remote viewing in their own practices. They just have a different name. So hypnotherapy and regression therapy is a form of therapy techniques that are similar to remote viewing, and how they access and tap into the subconscious minds through or by being in alternative states of consciousness. This is how they gain insight, right? These are just accessing non-ordinary states of consciousness to really intuitively facilitate, uncover, and really resolve some unresolved issues that might be going on within clients. So hypnotherapy and regression therapy are fantastic. You can also maybe dive into some guided visualizations or shamanic journeying. These are techniques that I really actively use in every single client session, young and old, to really connect with spirit guides, ancestors, or other forms of higher wisdom to access insights or receive guidance or gain clarity about life situations. And this is like remote viewing in the sense that guided visualizations can involve mentally traveling to different realms or different places and accessing intuitive knowledge or spiritual wisdom. It can also serve as a form of inner exploration, where people can mentally travel to other places, events, or timelines to uncover answers or questions to challenges they may be facing. So, for example, in a therapeutic context, right? Guided visualization is really a great tool to help someone reconnect with their higher self or receive guidance. It's similar to journeying into the unknown, right? We do and use these tools more often than we really think we are. So what this looks like if you were to come into a client session with me is that we talk a little bit about how everything's going on in your life, and then we go into this shamanic journey where you either sit down or lie down, and we go step by step, regression by regression, and we get the body to go deeper and deeper into a state of ease and flow. And it's like you're in that in-between state, that place where you're not fully asleep, you're very conscious still of what's going on, but you're so deeply relaxed that your body feels like it's asleep or sunken into the table or the chair or the couch, wherever you are. From there, we begin to come out of our bodies mentally. So we're not physically leaving our bodies, but mentally, we're envisioning ourselves coming up out of our body and maybe floating above, looking down, and then going off across waterways or through forests or down pathways or down into caves, and beginning to examine what is there for us, what at this well is going to show up for us in a way of teaching. What do we see when we look into the well? Whereas if we were remote viewing, we may be looking for something specific. What is in the folder on the desk? What does that document say when you open that folder? What are the words on that paper in that document? Whereas with shamanic journeying, it's more of introspection into self. Who are you looking back at when you look into the well? What do you see? What's there to learn? What is coming up for you? So a little bit of difference, and we always come back. And I have lots of people ask you, is astral projection or even remote viewing, are these things dangerous? And my take on it is no. As long as you're not going to look at like military bases or something like that, you're pretty, you're going to be fine. So some rules I have about astral projection are, one, just really allowing yourself to be in a space where you can really deeply relax. You want to enter that theta state. So lying down, closing your eyes, and focusing on your breath is all going to help you move into that deep state of relaxation. And setting that clear intention would be the next step. So, telling yourself that I am safe, I'm aware, I will explore beyond my body, or just really setting that intention of where we want to go. What do we want to learn here? What are we trying to achieve? Is there an answer that we've been pondering in our mind for days, weeks, months that we want some insight to? Setting that intention is really important. We also want to recognize the vibrational state. So recognizing what is going on within your body. How is this energy activating your body? Is there tingling or buzzing or lightness or ringing in the ears? Does it feel as though you are maybe floating, rolling, coming out of the body? You want to visualize yourself possibly pulling up on a rope or flying above the body, but you're always going to be connected because you're going to be tethered to your body through, a rope or a golden string, whatever that looks like to you. And then after you explore, you're going to trust the journey and you're going to come back to your body because you're already tethered, breathing, starting to slightly wiggle your fingers and toes. If you've ever been to a yoga class, it's like coming out of Shavasana. So giving yourself a few minutes after you do any of these techniques to really reflect on what it is you experienced, right? What is it I learned? What did I see, hear, sense, smell even? Really explore what it is that experience was to you specifically. Okay, so let's just talk for a minute before we wrap this segment up. What are some myths, fears, and facts, right? So the one thing is, will I get stuck outside of my body? No, you have a silver cord or a cord of some sort that always tethers you to your body. You will not get stuck outside of your body. I know I have heard many times that if you're not tethered, you might. And there is a part of me that does have fear, depending on where you're going, you always want to make sure you are tethered and protected. We can get into some pretty spicy and dicey situations. So we want to be really intentional with where we're going, how we're getting there. You've heard of psychic attacks and things like that. When we're traveling into different realms, we need to be very mindful. So again, journeying and projecting and remote viewing in the capacity you're at. We don't want to try and do something we're not ready to do. Excuse me. There's my throat, it's all closing in. It does this when I'm speaking truth or when something's coming forth. So really being mindful and really setting your intentions is going to help you with this. We don't want to ever, go into places that our gut is telling us not to go. Okay, there's a reason we have those red flags, those warnings. It's like an alarm going off before severe weather. We need to listen to those warnings. So if you're just going in to, journey or astral project into something that's very airy and fun, and you're in a class together, say in a shamanic journey, then that's great. You're going to have that silver cord. You're going to have that piece attached to you that's always going to pull you back. It's like being having a dog that's leashes around the clothesline. So it can go back and forth, but it can never get off that clothing line. You're tethered to your body, which is point A, and you can go out, but you always have to come back. So as long as you're tethered and as long as you're staying within your own capabilities, you are going to be fine. Is it dangerous? Again, no, I don't believe so. It's not any more dangerous than daydreaming, but we want to also acknowledge that there are things and unexplainables that are out there. So with anything, there is a risk, but doing it with someone who's very experienced is going to be able to be extremely safe for you. You're going to be able to really dive in, whether it's a guided journey of some kind, you're going to be well taken care of. So is it dangerous? No, of course, with anything, there is a risk. So just listening to, again, what is your intention? Are we trying to get into some spicy things that aren't for us to see, do, and explore? Then yeah, they might be a little bit dangerous in ways we can't fully understand or comprehend yet because of what limitations we know about our own mind, body, and the universal experience of crossing those barriers, which, haven't been recognized, or really, maybe recognized isn't the right word, but haven't been fully explored yet in a way that we fully understand, right? The brain is so capable of diving into different realities, and we really need to be mindful of that we can go off into places that we aren't really sure of what lies behind them. So staying, again, in your own lane is very important. So is it dangerous? I would say overall, no. Set your intentions, stay grounded, make sure you know what you're doing, or are with someone who really does know what they're doing and can guide you, right? It's like going into ayahuasca. You wouldn't want to go into an ayahuasca journey with someone who is just walking down the street and is advertising ayahuasca journeys and has never done one themselves, has never learned about the culture and dove into that experience themselves, right? Through the ups and the downs of that. You would want someone, a shaman, who is very experienced and knows the ins and the outs of that medicine and can really guide you and keep you grounded and call you back and help you through that experience. Another question I have is, what if I see scary things? Yeah, that's a real good question. Scary things can happen, right? We can see scary things in our dreams. We can see scary things in our walking day-to-day life. When we see scary things, we have to just take a moment, right? Fear can manifest your projection. So if you're in a state of fear or high anxiety when you're going into these experiences, you might very well experience some scary things. It's just like going into anything, right? What our mind perceives, we will be able to see and experience. So if we're focused or subconsciously even focused on fear and danger, then that's probably what we're going to manifest. It's like the same thing within our walking life. If we think bad things are going to happen, I guarantee you're going to stub your toe walking through the kitchen, or something's going to break, or things are going to happen. Cancellations are going to happen. So just being mindful of that, right? If you stay in this state of higher vibration and protection, and really set your intentions with clarity, not from a place of fear. And I would not ever journey or project when you're in a state of fear, then you're going to have a really great experience. It's like with anything. If we take any psychedelic, if we're in a state of really dis-ease and thinking the worst is going to happen, we can really, I believe, affect the energy and the potency of that medicine we are taking. So your current reality is definitely going to play into your experience. So being mindful, finding a guide that is fantastic for you. I do this with my clients. We are constantly journeying and exploring beyond our current reality. So that is something I'd love to do if that is with you. If you are interested in, you can work with me. There is many different ways you can connect with me over Instagram, through email, or through my website, www.healingwithsarah.ca. You can work with me and we can go through an individualized journey to break through and figure out how you can find what it is you're after and all that you desire. And it really does help you break through if you're in this state of stagnation in your healing journey. This is a fantastic tool, whether it's your business, whether it's relationship, whether it's moving through disease or dis-ease, right? Traumas, illnesses. This is a huge tool that I've used in my personal life through illness, through money blocks, through business chaos. This has been my number one tool, and I go back to it all the time, as well as many healers I know. They'll call me up and they'll be like, hey, I'm having this block. I don't know what to do. And we'll go into a journey and they'll get the answers, right? I'm not giving you the answers in these journeys. These answers are coming to you, and it's so clear and so beautiful. And I love this tool. So anyways, if anything through this podcast episodes has sparked something inside of you, then I strongly encourage you to explore the world of energetics, right? It's a journey and the possibilities are completely limitless. Whether you're just starting to dip your toes into astral projection or you want to dive into remote viewing, the power to heal and explore is already inside of you, and I cannot stress that enough. You have what it takes to do these things, these exercises. And if you are ready to go deeper, if you're ready to explore beyond the stage you're at now, then I've got a new course that is launching soon and I'm so excited about. Years and years ago, like 10 years ago, I taught my first Empowered Energetics course where we went through the basics, the fundamentals of energetics, and it always was selling out. So I have gone back to a course that I put to rest about 8 years ago, and I've rebirthed it, and it's now called Beyond Energetics, and it is so juicy. So stay tuned. We are going into the astral projection. We are going into the remote viewing, the shamanic journeying. We're going to dive into the chakras, the nadis, the psychedelic. We're going to talk about what it is to be a psychic and how our own intuition can heal our bodies. So stay tuned. This course is launching very soon, so keep an eye out for that. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I am so excited to continue sharing this path with you. And remember, your energy is your superpower. And when you align with it, you become unstoppable. So thank you for listening today. Remember to subscribe. Please give me a 5-star review of this podcast. Share with your friends. It really helps us get to a higher and a much larger audience so we can really explore this world of energetics with many more people. And who knows, maybe something in one of these podcast episodes can really change the trajectory of someone's life. If you want to follow along and get more one-to-one, follow me on Instagram at healingwith.Sarah. I'm also on YouTube under the same handle and TikTok as well. We will be doing Beyond Energetics online virtually, so stay tuned for that. And this podcast launches every week, so stay tuned.